Above a military base in Hawaii in the year 2007, people tilted their heads up and did not understand what they were seeing. Several glowing spheres hung in the sky and held strictly in formation as if someone had lined them up with a ruler. They went out, then they lit up again, but already in another part of the sky as if they had jumped the distance without any flight. In that year, dozens of reports of strange lights were recorded over the islands, but not a single one of them coincided with this recording either in time or in description. Where these lights came from and where they went remained without an answer. Dayton, state of Ohio, the year 2022. An object froze in the sky and lights ran along it in even flashes, calmly, rhythmically, without any haste. The witness assures, for a whole 10 minutes this thing hung in one place without moving, and as soon as he took out his camera, the behavior of the object suddenly changed, as if it understood that it was being filmed. Later, the man checked the flight map over the city. Not a single aircraft, neither civilian nor military, passed there at that time. What hovered over Dayton that evening could not be explained. This video was uploaded to the network by a person who knew exactly what he was looking at, an active commercial pilot under the nickname Caesar Rim. He was flying an Airbus A320 of the Viva Air airline company over Medellin in Colombia. For a couple of seconds, the camera captures the altimeter in the cabin and then freezes on a dark object overboard. No wings, no flashing lights, not a single familiar detail by which one could say, this is an airplane, this is a drone. In the last frames, the object seems to freeze in the frame, keeping close to the airliner. There is no official explanation for this encounter to this day. The 7th of August 2021, an ordinary courtyard in Philadelphia. A person is filming a passenger airliner and notices something else next to it. A small object is moving almost flush to the side, to the very side of the airplane. The first thought is simple, mid-air refueling, because that happens. But the longer you look, the less it looks like the truth. The companion of the airliner has neither wings nor a fuselage. It is perfectly round, and it moves too evenly, holding on too consciously next to the multi-ton Colossus for this to be an accident or a routine refueling.
É trecho. Não consegue abrir o chuveiro? Olha, amanhã é 4. Que diacho, hein?
What the heck is that? You see it, right?
I'm actually, yes,
Okay.
I do see it.
Okay.
It's getting weirder by the second.
I know.
Sticking around. Anybody digging?
The 24th of July 2019, Waterbury, state of Connecticut. A white object smoothly floats across the sky, without wings, without rudders, without everything that flying equipment should have, and it seems to pulsate on the move, as if something inside is breathing rhythmically. But the strangest thing began 20 minutes later. Along the same trajectory, at the same pace, a second object passed, an exact copy of the first. Both did not emit a single sound. One can be written off to anything, but two identical ones, along one line, with an interval of exactly 20 minutes, this already looks like a route.
Wait, what's cold?
Yeah,
it's time you gotta move.
I think
only
we're-
three. You gotta move your body.
No, it just disappeared.
We're here with you.
They're disappearing.
They're here. They're here.
They heard us up on the mountain.
Gotta get you moving,
They
honey.
did.
All right, come on. Okay, baby? Yeah, let's get you moving. You feel? Did you fall down?
Then they disappeared.
They're right there.
The 23rd of December 2025, the Valle del Cauca department in Colombia, a disc-shaped object is maneuvering above the ground at a low altitude, and here the phones of both witnesses go out at once, right in the middle of filming, although there was a charge. The object at this moment was passing close to the high-voltage transmission lines. A coincidence? Maybe, or maybe not. Someone will say, a regular electromagnetic interference from the wires. But why did it knock out the equipment exactly when the disc turned out to be nearby, is a question to which the witnesses did not find an answer. The 14th of June 2015, the small town of Mogi das Cruzes near Sao Paulo. An eyewitness named Denny Deco is filming on a Nikon P600 camera a diamond-shaped object gliding over the roofs. There is no sound on the recording at all. It would seem just another video out of thousands of similar ones. But then something happened that alarmed much more than the object itself. Shortly after publication, the video began to be deleted from one platform, from another, from a third. The shape, altitude, smoothness of movement remained without explanation, but why they were in such a hurry to erase the recording from the network is a separate mystery. The 9th of November 2024, at the foot of the Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico, an object of perfect conical shape glides across the sky. No planes, no exhaust, nothing that would explain how it stays in the air at all. The person filming, Oliver Tavera, says, the object appeared suddenly and moved consciously, with explicit control over its movement. And Popocatépetl has a bad reputation. Over this volcano, anomalies in the sky are noticed over and over again, year after year. So this recording also went into the same folder, without the stamp, explained. On a recording from the border of Mexico and the United States of America, an object stands in the sky, turned strictly vertically, long, narrow, as if someone had placed a thin rod upright in the air. It does not look like a balloon, nor a helicopter, nor anything that usually flashes over these places. The people caught in the frame react almost identically, confusedly trying to explain everything logically and not finding words. This thing looked too out of place against the background of the familiar sky. What it was and why it hovered there remained without an answer. This recording is called one of the closest encounters that a fighter pilot has ever filmed. The early 90s, the sky over the Philippines. The object in the frame turns out to be so close to the airplane that its structure is visible, detail by detail, which almost never happens in such footage. And at the very same time, people on the ground in different parts of the Philippines reported seeing something similar in the sky. Air and ground coincided. That is exactly why the case became one of the most discussed in the region. Two independent views on the exact same thing.
Ano daw ulit ate? Ginuti na.
It is, again, no bullshit here. Here's the sky, and the sky over here, downtown, my house, my hands. What the fuck is that? Holy shit. Look, no bullshit. No bullshit. Look at Little Thunder, esto, lo otro, the pool. What is that? Oh, wait. Bye. Oh shit, this is incredible. Wow.
In the Gulf of Mexico, someone filmed an object of classical shape, a saucer hovering by the side of cargo ships. The outlines of the disc are clearly visible, and even round silhouette glides very close to the ships. What this is and why it stays so close to maritime traffic, there is no coherent explanation. Among container ships and tankers, in the middle of a working shipping route, this thing looked like a guest from a completely different story, and no one from the crews ever understood who they saw.
Donde se grabó en Ponorogo el día 6 de junio de 2022 Y como te digo, pues tiene las características muy marcadas de un no identificado. Y estaba precisamente posicionado en este tipo de selva.
The 28th of May 2009, the small town of Prijedor in Bosnia. This case stands out by one detail. The object was filmed simultaneously by two people who did not know each other from different points. One of them told that the object hovered and then sharply left. Only a few seconds remained for filming, but it was exactly his short video that gave the main thing. By the shadow that the object cast on the neighboring building, it was possible to estimate the size, 6 to 7 meters across. This is not a drone and not a light airplane. This is the size of a minibus suspended right in the air. A passenger on a flight over Russia filmed through the porthole a glowing yellow diamond-shaped object hanging in the distance. The trick is this: the object was not blown away along with the movement of the airplane, and it did not float as reflections on the glass would float. The shape remained clear, without distortions, and it glowed evenly, as if the light source was inside and not a reflection of the sun from the outside. There is neither an exact date nor an official explanation for the video, just another recording in the long Russian history of strange encounters in the sky. Over Denver in 2021, an object in the shape of a capsule was filmed, and filmed surprisingly clearly. Its outlines do not look like a drone, nor an airplane, nor anything that usually rushes over the city. On the recording, the smooth metallic curve of the hull is clearly visible, a smooth, shiny arc, as if cast from mercury. To those who stood below and looked up, at that moment one thought came to mind: this thing is not made by humans. In the Colombian location of La Capilla, a man was filming something of his own and accidentally caught in the frame a disc-shaped object sailing across the sky. He was not looking for anything, not waiting, not hunting for miracles. The object simply appeared in the background, all by itself. It moved smoothly, evenly, under full control. No wings, no propellers, not a hint of an engine. Sometimes the most convincing frames are exactly those that are filmed completely by accident, when a person did not even think about catching anything.
What?
What the heck?
¿Qué es eso?
Look at that shit.
Murillo, ve lo que está haciendo eso.
Look at that. Wow. ¿Qué es eso?
Manches, ¿qué es eso?
Finance.
What the fuck is that? That is so weird. That's not a plane. That's... I can't believe I'm seeing this right now. What?
Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. An eyewitness filmed a disc-shaped object, and along its sides small portholes seem to be distinguishable, a row of dark spots along the edge. The hull looks metallic and unusually clear for daytime filming, when usually everything blurs in the haze. This frame is considered one of the clearest pictures of a saucer that have come from the region. Not a blurred spot in the distance, but a thing with a distinguishable structure. That is why it is remembered by many. Somewhere in Brazil, a camera caught a glowing cylinder moving evenly across the sky. The shape is perfectly straight, without rotation and without that flickering that would give away a drone or a balloon. And it glows evenly along its entire length, from edge to edge, like a red-hot tube. It is exactly this evenness that makes the frame strange. A pure sample of what ufologists call a rod or a cigar, without propellers, without lights, and without a single coherent explanation. Oman, 2017. Against the background of the disk of the moon passes a long, dark object. The silhouette is clean, narrowing towards the end with a barely noticeable trailing shadow, as if something dense and material is following it. It does not look like space debris, nor like the familiar things that flash when observing the moon. Just a dark figure for a couple of moments crossing out the lunar disk, and not a single coherent answer as to what exactly passed there, against the background of the cold night light.
Esa madre no es un juguete, pero porque mucha distancia. Ah, mucha distancia, pero nada, esa madre no fue día también. Mira, Sara está atrás de mí. Uy, qué pedo con esa madre. Esa madre no está. Guacha las luces, güey.
Explanation.
This UFO literally just landed out here. Unbelievable. Clear as day. And no one here except for me. And this is where this UFO lands. It's not a drone. I mean, come on, people, man. You guys need to wake up. This freaking UFO just landed out here. Literally hovering.
The 27th of July 2008, the coast of Brian in Somerset. A father and son film a cigar-shaped object hanging motionless in the clear sky. They zoom the camera in, lose focus, aim again, and the object stands rooted to the spot, strictly vertically, without a single sign of an engine or movement. And there is a creepy detail. This happened exactly a day before the famous Grand Pier nearby burned down. A coincidence, of course, but from this summer frame it still pulls with a chill. Número 1. Jalisco, western Mexico. In the sky is an object with a strange silhouette similar to a donut, a dark uneven ring, and in the very center a dot burns brightly. The outer contour seems to melt, change, looks torn, but the central light remains perfectly clear all the time. This thing moves consciously, in such a way that the tongue does not turn to write it off to a gust of wind. A very unusual thing even by the standards of the sky, to which the locals have long been accustomed to being surprised. Number 1. Germany, July 2025. A person filmed a classical saucer silently gliding across the sky. The silhouette is perfectly round and evenly dark. No wings, no lights, no protrusions, absolutely nothing superfluous. Simple, clean. One of those frames on which the gaze catches and freezes, and in the head spins one single question. If this is not an airplane and not a drone, then what on earth is capable of looking like this and flying like this? The 7th of November 2025, West Lothian in Scotland. In the sky, several bright lights arranged in a clear figure. Fog, visibility is awful, but the lights all this time keep one and the same distance from each other and one line. It is impossible to identify them, too far away, but it does not work out to dismiss them either. Writing them off as random glares, they are too organized. Something kept their formation in the Scottish night sky with a stubborn, almost non-human neatness.
Thing is just floating, bro. At the beach. What is that? We got UFOs in San Diego?
そうだって。ないさ。あれ北朝鮮から飛んでくる白いボールじゃない。そうだって。ないさ。あれ北朝鮮から飛
In 2015, users of Google Earth stumbled upon an oddity. Over a residential street in the Canadian Nova Scotia, a disc-shaped object was hanging in the air. Not on the ground, exactly in the air, noticeably raised above the houses. And a few days later, Google quietly swapped the picture of this place and the anomaly disappeared. The sudden deletion only added fuel. Neither metadata nor saved old map tiles remained. The only thing that exists today is that very screenshot which someone managed to take in time. Cedros Island off the coast of Baja California in Mexico. On the recording, a bright white object of oval shape, low, hovering along the crest of the ridge and then changing position. Its movement and glow do not fit onto a drone, nor an airplane, nor the familiar whims of the atmosphere. What this is? A low-flying apparatus, a plasma clot, or some kind of structure that caught the glare of the sun. Everyone is free to decide for themselves. The frame does not give an unambiguous answer, and perhaps in this lies all its strength.
This quality. Look out, what? I'm zooming into max. Look, it's great. Oh, that's funny. I always wanted to see a UFO, man. That's awesome.
A thunderstorm in the Canadian Alberta, and right after a bright flash, something strange happens. A perfectly round sphere of saturated blue color hovers in the sky and holds in complete silence. At first people think a fireball, ball lightning, but the color is not right, and it does not behave like that. It does not go out. It is not blown away by the wind. It simply stands in place, as if observing. A meteorologist would call this a rare phenomenon, and would be right. It is just that the stability of this sphere gives birth to much more questions than any beautiful name. Over the Isle of Wight, a red glowing dot was filmed, and behind it, barely distinguishable in the dark, a triangular hull could be guessed. Such frames are often associated with the legend about the so-called TR-3B. The lights do not fold into one dot, but into a geometry of three corners, and behind them a dark mass is felt. All this moves smoothly and controllably, without flashing flashes, such as are supposed for a civilian or military aircraft. Whatever this was, by its lights it does not coincide with any known machine. Milan, the 29th of April 2007, early evening. A witness filmed a dark disc with an explicit structure silently hanging in the sky. Under the hull, circular layers are clearly visible, as if the mechanism is assembled from several tiers, placed one on top of the other. Because of this, the object looks emphatically man-made, a machine, and not a spot of light. One of the most detailed daytime pictures that came from Italy, and not a single clue who built this thing and why. Santiago, 2019. A glowing object in the sky seems to stretch, twist, and change shape, and at the same time remains obscenely bright. The silhouette swims all the time, therefore it cannot be properly classified, and the movement does not fit onto the familiar trajectories of flight, nor onto the drift of a balloon. And here is what is curious. Even when the brightness flares up and floods everything with white, separate parts of the structure still remain visible through the light. A strange and rare frame from the Chilean capital. On this recording, a classical saucer hangs over the Himalayas, over some of the highest mountains of the planet. The object looks stable. It holds both the altitude and the shape, not getting lost in the bright daylight. No identification marks like an airplane has. No contrail. Not a single understandable explanation of what it is doing at all at such an altitude, where it is hard even for people to breathe. An amazing frame from places where ordinary equipment does not climb so easily. London, 2011. Over the center of the city, right above the building of the radio station British Broadcasting Corporation Radio 1, several bright objects were filmed at once in the sky. They immediately riveted the gazes of those who happened to be below, too noticeable not to see them. Their movement is elongated, fluid, completely unlike an airplane, nor birds, nor garbage carried away by the wind. Without additional context, it is difficult to explain their behavior. Several glowing dots over the heart of the British capital, and not a single solution. A person named Todd Mitchell wanted to film an ordinary lightning strike during a thunderstorm, but caught a black figure darting across the sky and disappearing. At first, he decided that it was simply an insect in front of the lens. That happens all the time, but the figure returned, and this time, it passed straight through a cloud, right through the dense thickness of steam. An insect does not know how to do that. Whatever this was, it was flying by its own rules, and these rules did not coincide with anything familiar. Paris, 2009. Close-up, night vision, and in the frame is a triangular object that rotates under control and strangely plays with light. Its shape, this neat rotation and the character of the glow, made many remember about the rumors around TR3B. However, there is no official confirmation of this version in sight. There remains only what is in the frame, a dark triangle, turning in the night as if someone is behind the levers. The valleys near Villapinzón in Colombia, August 2022. At first, the cylindrical object, according to the words of the eyewitness, went right into the slope of the hill, as if it dissolved in the ground. And the person did what few would dare to do. He returned to the place and began to inspect everything himself, up close. They laughed at him. They offered him a dozen simple explanations, but he stands his ground to this day. What he filmed there, on the slope, did not look like familiar equipment in the sky, nor like someone's staging. The 28th of January 2024, the vicinity of Rendlesham in England. During a thunderstorm, a dark object similar to plasma appears in the sky, and it seems to interact with the lightning, playing with the discharges. The place seems to have been chosen on purpose. Exactly near the Rendlesham Forest decades ago occurred one of the loudest ufological episodes in history. That is why they argue. Whether it was an experimental atmospheric effect or something for which a name was never selected. This recording from Croatia shows a huge spiral of light in the sky, and according to reports, it was seen simultaneously in several countries of Europe in one and the same period of time. The spectacle is spectacular up to goosebumps, an even twisted funnel suspended over a whole continent. What gave birth to it? Exactly no one knows. Different versions walk around, from the launch of a rocket, whose fuel twisted into a spiral in the rarefied air, to a rare atmospheric trick, beautiful, large-scale, and still without a firm answer. Early morning, around 5 o'clock, the 25th of June 2022, a woman in Monterrey in Mexico films a glowing disc that slowly descends behind the nearest hill. In the pre-dawn darkness, the object blazes especially brightly and moves clearly consciously, without jerks and chaos. This unhurried descent and strong glow do not want to fit into a single familiar template, neither an airplane nor familiar celestial phenomena, just a bright disc going behind the hill at dawn. Mexico, December 2025. In the sky, a disc-shaped object that rapidly rotates around its axis, but at the same time crawls forward slowly, as if reluctantly. It holds its altitude evenly, and the speed of rotation does not go off by a second over the entire video. No wings, no exhaust, not a hint of an engine. It is this combination, a rapid carousel in place and a leisurely movement across the sky, that does not let one pick a familiar name for it. Neither an airplane, nor a helicopter, nor a drone flies like that. The location of the filming is unknown. The camera shakes, the frame dances, but through the trembling, the main thing is visible. Two disc-shaped objects hang motionless in the sky, not one, two nearby, having frozen for a few long moments. No binding to a location, no coherent details, nothing to catch on to and say for sure. Only two silhouettes, frozen in the air, and the shaking hands of a person who clearly did not expect to see such a thing above himself. This recording was made by a street surveillance camera in Mexicali in January 2017. The object hovered right by the ground, so low that a passerby walks past in the frame, just a couple of steps away from it. The person and the incomprehensible thing turn out to be almost side by side in one space. The object moves slowly and as if deliberately, not hurrying to leave the field of view of the camera. It is exactly this low altitude and the proximity to a living human that make the video so uncomfortable. With familiar things, you cannot explain anything here. The surroundings of Valparaiso in Chile, July 2022. Meteorologists called these formations lenticular clouds, those very same ones that indeed happen to be similar to soaring saucers. The explanation is reasonable, but many who saw the pictures stand their ground. The shape is just too correct, too similar to an object deliberately hidden behind a cloudy shell. Nature knows how to sculpt an almost perfect disk out of moisture, and that is exactly why such clouds have been confusing people for centuries. Chiang Mai, July 2025. On the recording, a structured object as if suspended over a layer of clouds. The spectacle is unusual even for these parts, where the sky has seen a lot. The only thing is there is no confirmation, neither a second angle nor another filming of the same object from another point. So the case remains exactly what it looks like. Curious, catchy, but unsolved. One frame, one pair of eyes in the sky, which is not in a hurry to share answers. In 2010, a couple from Cali in Colombia told that they saw a disc-shaped object hovering right over their house. The recording is short, almost an instant. But even for this moment, the position of the object and its complete immobility immediately raise questions. Why the filming broke off so quickly is unclear. What exactly got into the frame, they argue to this day. Sometimes the shortest recordings leave the most questions. There is too little of them to believe and too much to dismiss. December 2023, residents of Cordoba film an elongated glowing object silently swimming overhead. The shape is unambiguously cylindrical, but the surrounding glow hints at an energy source inside and not at reflected foreign light, and it moves in one direction, cleanly, evenly, without that pitching that would give away a Chinese lantern or a drone. It is exactly such movement, stable and confident, that is described in reports about unidentified flying objects all over the world from decade to decade. A drone over the Pilis Mountains in Hungary managed to film only 6 seconds, but what seconds? A cylindrical object rushes across the sky and rushes with a wild speed. The shape at the same time remains perfectly straight without a single sign of an engine, and the speed is such that the eye barely keeps up. A sudden, noiseless, completely controlled dash. Whatever flashed in these 6 seconds, it behaved completely not like flying equipment that a human built with his own hands. Over Spain in a clear sky, a cigar-shaped object was caught, smoothly gliding into the distance. The surface reflects light, the hull is symmetrical, it looks made with intent and not molded together by accident. No wings, not a hint of an engine, but it holds its course evenly, as if along a ruler. Cigar objects in the sky have been described since the 40s of the last century, from the very dawn of the era of flying saucers. And this one fits into that old description almost perfectly, like an illustration from a textbook that does not exist. Russia, 2016. Right above the ground hovers a glowing sphere, flooding everything around with a powerful bluish light. It does not flicker like lightning, and it does not behave like ball lightning. Everything is just too under control. The sphere holds its shape, holds its place, and seems almost reasonable in how it hangs, calmly, confidently, as if waiting for something. Encounters with such bright clots of pure energy remain among the most inexplicable. You see them, but you do not understand what on earth you are looking at. This case from England is a vertical object, along the length of which dots of light flare up and go out. They behave strangely. These are not reflections. The lights appear suddenly, disappear and appear again, but already on another section of the hull, as if running along it. The object itself at the same time stands absolutely motionless the whole time, and because of this immobility, the pulsation of the lights hits the eyes even stronger. It looks not like a natural phenomenon, but like a machine with a working energetic filling inside. 2014, the backyard of an American named Rick. Right out of nowhere appears a strange metallic sphere. On its sides, 3 rods stick out, like antennas, and it moves in such a way that common sense gives up. Sharp stops, then sudden jerks forward. The witness estimated the size, 1.5 meters to 2 across, the height of a human. And all this hung at approximately 120 meters above the ground. This is the height of a 40-story building. Not a single familiar drone or balloon behaves like this. Ukraine, 2016. In the distance appears a glowing blue sphere and simply remains in place, in complete silence and without movement. Not a drone, not a machine, not something tied to the weather, just one single sphere of saturated blue light suspended over a field. And here is an honest question to which it is difficult to answer. If you were standing in the middle of an empty field and saw such a thing above you, with what would you even begin the explanation? Lucca, Italy, the 18th of February 2024. In the sky, a cigar-shaped object froze, and exactly froze, motionless. The whole is bright, of even light, with dark ends along the edges, and it does not drift, does not bank, does not shift to any side. This is exactly what confuses the most. The thing has neither wings, nor an engine, nor a single visible reason to stay in the air, and it stays. It simply hangs over the Italian small town, breaking all the rules at once. Around the year 2015 or 16, over one of the airports of Saudi Arabia, a disc with a very unusual illumination was filmed. On top, along the hull, goes a soft glowing strip, and along it, a blue light continuously runs from left to right, as if scanning something. At the edges, 2 bright lights hold, even and motionless, while the blue one darts back and forth. Not a single known airplane glows like this, especially with this fire running along the casing, which glides along the surface all by itself. Aspen, 2013. A snowboarder was filming his descent and accidentally caught in the frame a hovering cylindrical apparatus in the background. What amazes about it is the complete immobility. The object holds its cigar-like shape and does not shift either up or down, as if it was nailed to the sky. For a thing without any visible engine to simply hang over a slope like that is, to put it mildly, strange. The snowboarder rode down, and this thing just remained standing in the air behind his back. The United States of America, 2023. A white cylindrical object catches the eye immediately. The shape is rigid, perfectly straight, and the brightness seems to be its own and not reflected from somewhere on the side. But the most unusual thing is stability. No swaying, no rotation, no sliding down, just a noiseless object suspended in the air in broad daylight against the background of a clear sky where it has absolutely nothing to justify its presence with. It hangs, and that is all. 2011. A person is filming a regular flight of an airplane near the International Airport of Orlando and accidentally catches something else. A fast object pierces the clouds right through at a crazy speed. On the recording, it is visible how it tears the cloud layer, leaving behind itself a short trail similar to smoke, and then a turn from which it gets cold. Later, the witness stated that after the publication of the video, they started to threaten him, and to this already strange frame was added another alarming layer. Write in the comments everything that you think concerning these moments and what shocked you the most. Subscribe to the channel Top Facts for compilations of the most incredible facts and videos from all over the internet. Thank you for viewing, and right now watch the previous episodes which have already appeared on your screen.